Welcome to the It's Not Me, It's You podcast, a space where we explore the questions couples often avoid in their relationships.
Not the easy ones, the uncomfortable ones that sit quietly under the surface.
Before we chat, a quick note. If you're someone who finds these conversations helpful,
But still notices the same patterns showing up in your life or relationships, we've opened a small number of private reflection sessions.
check the link for details. Also, just to say, there is no right and wrong here.
This is simply an opportunity for us and you to travel through the tougher questions that come up from time to time, the ones we're often too afraid to ask. What does feeling loved actually look like for you?
Nice. I like that. That's nice.
What do you like about it?
I think it's important to, it's kind of like a juxtaposition. You've got feeling love.
Hey, steady. Coming out of that last question.
What does feeling love look like? You've got feeling and look. It's like, what does it look like? And what does it feel like? So it's that, I kind of like that because I see the different sides of it.
It might look different to how it feels and feels different to how it looks.
Exactly. And that really brings me onto a really important point. For me personally, it's not about what it looks like. How does it feel? Always go with your feelings. Because how it looks like to your partner or to the outside world, it will not make sense to them because it doesn't have to. This is about you. So if you're feeling loved, for example, coming back to the love languages that we discussed last time, if you're feeling loved in a certain way, then know that about yourself and don't be afraid to say it. I really love when, you tell me how much you appreciate me because you might be words of affirmation. So really go with that and actually just lean into what you yourself need, want, and how you feel loved.
That's such a valid point because also people, sometimes we get caught up in the perception of what it is, right? What other people, think it is. So
Yeah.
for example, you look like such a great couple. And they're doing everything to get that affirmation from an external source rather than how does it feel inside for me to be loved by this person?
Interesting. Yeah, great questions and great awareness to have because it's different for everyone. And also, do you think that can change over the course of a relationship?
That's a great question. Tell us, how does that change over the course of a relationship? How does your love, being loved, the feeling of it, what it looks like for you, evolve? Has it evolved? How have you dealt with it evolving?
And is it enough? And what do you need more of in future? Again, communication, talk to yourself about it and talk to your partner.
What do you notice yourself holding back, even when nothing is wrong?
We got this question and we kind of read it a few times because we're like, wow, what does this mean? But it's a question that came up. So we're taking it forward and we want to discuss it because this question, what do you notice yourself holding back? What do you hold back? What is holding you back? And are you holding yourself back? Or are you a complete open book? You can say things straight away. I do like this. I don't like this. Actually, things look and seem fine and we're not in the middle of an argument right now, but I have actually been kind of holding back in some ways. And why are you holding back?
Because that, when I laugh, I smile a bit because when I first read this, it felt like, are you hiding something? You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing wrong. So why are you acting shady? Like, what's really going on? You know what I mean?
That's what your mind goes to.
Yeah, but like, if everything is fine and you're telling me that you're fine, I'm asking you, we cool? Like, we having a good time? And you're holding back. And I can feel it from your energy, your body language. Like, what are you holding back? And why are you holding back?
So that also implies that your partner's quite perceptive enough to feel it or to actually think, you're saying one thing, but I'm feeling a difference. Some people, as we know, and we've spoken to many people, some people don't really have that level in their relationship. So that is when it comes back down to you. When do you notice yourself holding back? What are you holding back about? And what is that like for you? Because why are you holding back? Is it just because you lack a bit of confidence? Because you're holding back in your hopes or dreams or aspirations purely because they sound silly because you were brought up in a household where you were told to not dream bigger than where we are. We don't do that. Who are you to dream that big? Like, it's about where does that come from? If you're holding back, where does that really come from? Because it won't even be your partner. It'll be from well before your partner.
Yeah. And it's great to have that conversation because you might be misinterpreting behavior or words that have been said to you. They may not be holding anything back.
Yeah.
But the fact that you've paused for a moment to just say, like, do you feel safe enough to share fully? Like, is there something you're maybe worried about sharing?
Yeah.
That makes them potentially, view things differently.
Yes. Yeah. And this question as well, on the holding back part, that also makes me think about what we've discussed a lot this past few weeks. Jealousy. Is there jealousy in your relationship? Is there jealousy in the situation? Why a smile for?
Because when we talk about jealousy in a relationship, we often focus on boundaries being messed about with, flirtatious behavior in inappropriate ways and so on. But the jealousy that people often don't talk about is, my partner's doing well, my partner's growing.
Absolutely.
I feel less than now. Whereas are they going to leave me? I feel insecure suddenly.
Yeah.
Rather than celebrating their partner, they don't communicate much joy around it.
Yeah.
They don't do much to encourage them further. And there's a lot of that potentially showing up in relationship dynamics.
Yeah.
That people aren't being honest about and exploring as much as they could do.
And that's a great question to ask yourself. If you are feeling that, why do you feel that you have to hold back in front of your partner? Because you know or believe or think that they're not going to support you. And why is that? Maybe they're not the right person for you. Because if you really want to do great things and do different things and do things that maybe look a bit strange to other people, but you actually have a big dream that you've never tried to go for before, but you're also thinking life is too short, it's time to go for it. And will your partner really support you? Because at the end of the day, who you choose to connect with on a long-term basis is one of the biggest decisions that you will ever make.
Absolutely.
It is the biggest decision, actually. I'm going to go so far to say it is the biggest decision, because it is, who is your support network? Who can you celebrate with and who will celebrate with you? Who can you suffer with and who can you have challenges with, who is still going to be there and is still going to be supportive and is going to want to be there in the trenches with you? Because life isn't always sunshine, candy, diamonds and rainbows. It's not. Let's be honest, it's not. That's
really?
It is.
No?
That's a highlight reel. But it's about being honest about that. And actually, this person, when the money's gone, they're gone too. Have that real conversation with yourself, because if that is where you're feeling that you're holding yourself back, that might come back down to the relationship itself.
We've put together a short guide with 50 questions couples avoid.
Let us know which really resonates and how you get on with them.
Everyone's relationship and situation is different, so have fun using them as a guide for getting your questions answered in your relationship.
And remember to ask yourself the same questions too. What are your non-negotiables?
That rolls off nicely from what you're sharing about jealousy and, recognizing if your partner is with you and has your back. Because if they're not celebrating you and you can't trust them, then you are doing well, you won't want them by your side. You can't trust them. You don't know what's going to happen.
Exactly.
And when it's that time to suffer with them, you don't know if they're going to stick around.
Yep.
So, you don't want to move into that sort of survival mode, scarcity mindset and just be paranoid, thinking, oh my gosh, they're just going to leave as soon as this happens and so on. But it's so important to put boundaries in place and say, look, I feel uncomfortable with X, Y, Z. I don't like the way you greet people like this. I would like us to put money here. We're spending too much there. I'd love to see my family, not just yours, over the holidays.
Oh, that's a massive one. Ooh. We see that a lot.
So much. Those family dynamics are the big ones often.
Absolutely. And again, all of that starts before you even meet your partner. So it's about being honest about what are the non-negotiables, because if you are somebody, like you say, in that family dynamic where it's all about them and you've only ever been with them and you're not giving your partner and the other side of the family any time or space, that's maybe a non-negotiable for the other side of the family, because actually families are often made up of two sides, right? So it's like, do you want to give equal time to both sides and actually let your partner be seen or heard in that? But if you're just choosing yourself, then it's not always even, and that can then build resentment. So the non-negotiable conversation early on in a conversation, in a relationship, I would say that is definitely one to have.
So tell us what your non-negotiables are. Drop us a comment, let us know. And we're talking about the small things as well, not just the obvious, don't cheat on me, don't steal my money, and, run off with the neighbor. Look, we're talking about,
Run off with a neighbor.
we're talking about, I don't think your mum likes me and I'd like you to speak up for me more if she's being rude to me.
Yeah.
It's those kind of uncomfortable things.
Yeah, that's huge. Wow.
Yeah. I don't like the way your dad speaks to our youngest child.
Yeah, I don't like how your parents treat our kids.
Right.
Like, we don't want to go around there as much anymore, if at all. We're not going to spend big time or like big masses of energy with them at like big family events or big, annual events like Christmas or the holidays. It's like whatever you celebrate and however your families come together, if one of you is feeling disrespected or your family isn't getting shown the equal love or respect as maybe other family members or what they deserve, then that is a real conversation to have, because that, for me, that is a massive non-negotiable.
And also let us know how you are enforcing these non-negotiables.
Yeah.
So that we can generate ideas for others to explore. Because the truth is, if there are no consequences, no one's gonna care.
Exactly.
They're just gonna walk all over your boundaries, and you're just gonna be repeating yourself, building resentment, and stuck in this cycle, feeling like mush.
Yeah, feeling like you're on your own in a relationship.
Lonely, unseen, unheard. And then, that's the end of it.
And also, just on this last point, these can change as you're going through, right? I would say, because if you're okay with some things, like in the earlier days, that might change over time, because repeated disrespect from a family member, for example, that you might not even be aware of it. But when your partner comes in and sees it through a different lens, they're like, hang on a minute, do you realize how your family are treating you? And I saw a reel once, this American couple, and he was saying, when I met my wife, we always went out for dinner with my family. So him and his family and his new partner. And she said to him, when we go out for dinner next, I don't want you to pay. You're not paying. Because he didn't realize he'd always been the one to pay for the whole family. So when they went for big family dinner, he didn't put his hand in his pocket and he didn't get his credit card out. And it was crickets and tumbleweed around the table. And he paid for him and his wife. And he said, I feel real uncomfortable about this. But she said, we're just going to test it. And then from that moment, they all had face on. And then they all paid for themselves. And then they didn't speak for a long time afterwards.
So what is this entitlement?
Entitlement from family members that you may not see it yourself because you are just so used to being that person. But until someone can come in and put a mirror up to it, then that might then become a non-negotiable. Like, we need to be a solid unit and we need to be aware of family dynamics. Because you might not be aware of it, babe, but I've seen that you are picking up all the tabs for all the family and they're not even saying thank you. So, important things to notice. If you've found your way here and you're enjoying the conversations, please subscribe, share the podcast, and turn on notifications so that you don't miss future episodes.
You can also drop your questions in the comments below and we'll do our best to explore them.
Now, let's go.